KG got on the first little piece of gold, and nice little nugget. So actually got on the first two pieces of gold actually, and the second piece I was kind of near him, and I actually helped him kind of locate that. It was such a small piece, I was having a hard time finding with the pinpointer. So as I was walking away from him, I got a really good banging, like 11, 13 signal, which is like right in the full tab range. I said, that's a perfect number for a piece of gold. I said, all right, well, whatever it is, it's really shallow. So I grabbed my pinpointer. I was kind of raking around in the rocks, and the pinpointer was just screaming. I'm like, well, whatever it is, it's right here. So I just grabbed a handful of rocks, checked my hand, and it was whatever it was in my hand. So I opened my hand, and all the native stone in the area is very dark. It's not black. It's very dark gray. So when I opened my hand, I had about 7 or 8 of these very dark, blackish gray rocks in my hand, and dead center of my palm was a bright yellow 1-ounce gold nugget.
Wow, 1 ounce. Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you really should think about changing it to Illinois gold digger or something like that.
It's awesome, though.
Oh, yeah, I've been very fortunate.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I would absolutely say so.
So, a quick question. So, I know that a lot of people, and we as detectorists and treasure hunters get asked all the time, what our favorite find is and all of that. And we've heard some of yours, I'm sure, tonight. Do you have a white whale, that certain thing that you've always wanted to find but you've never found, that maybe keeps eluding you? Do you have one of those finds?
Well, obviously, I would love to find a U.S. gold coin.
Oh.
Yeah, for you, I mean, this is my 13th year detecting. Just this spring, I finally found my first trime. I mean, I know the gold coin it's not out of reach. It's not impossible. People do find them. They're here, just very few of them. So it's not impossible, but that's always been kind of like number one on my wish list. And then number 2 was always a trime. So this year I finally found a trime. You can barely tell what it is. It's wiped out, but I know what it is, and it's definitely a trime. But so that was kind of like the one thing that I've always been chasing. But other than that, I can't think of that. This year I've been fortunate. Amanda knows firsthand that I dug a button this spring that I never in 100 years would have thought that I would have found in northern Illinois. I found that rifle militia button.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Incredible.
Yeah, so I mean, stuff like that. I'm really to the point where I've been pretty fortunate. I really don't have too many items that I really, like I said, that trime was really it. So I guess really now a U.S. gold coin is one thing here at home that I would really love to find. I've actually found a real in Wisconsin this spring with my buddy Jeff's one of his permissions. So I've had a really good year. I've been some good spots. Late last year, I found a officer's sword belt plate, something else I never would have thought I would have found in the Midwest. Period. So it's now it's just items like that. And I don't really crave anything per se. I guess I don't have any white whales left. Other than the gold coin. I'm just happy to be out.
Right.
Now, are you planning any trips for 2023? Any events or things like that? Are you headed back?
I'm not going back to the UK. Well, I might go back to the UK. I've actually been invited to go to Germany to go metal detecting next year. So,
wow.
Yeah, so I think I'm actually going to take that opportunity if I can, as long as I can get the time off of work. I don't really want to lose that opportunity. Dave, Full Metal Digger, who's in the chat. He lived in Germany for 3 years, and he's invited me to go back to Germany with him next year with some of his friends and hang out for a week. So we might actually, we're talking about possibly leaving a few days early and flying into England and meeting up with our new friend Spencer from Future Bleeps. When we were in London, Spencer, he's from England. He found out that all these Americans were coming to the UK for this trip, and a bunch of us had reached out to some people on social media to hopefully meet up with them, and if nothing else, just to maybe go to one of the pubs and have a pint or something. But no one had really answered any of us. So Spencer got word of that, and he's like, "Oh, my dead body! Are these Americans going to reach out and not get proper English greeting?" He goes. So he got in his car and drove an hour down to London and met us at our hotel and bought us a round of drinks and hung out with us and brought a lot of his best finds. He brought to the hotel to show us Celtic gold quarter stater, a bunch of great big hammered silvers and milled silvers and just all kinds of cool stuff. And I tell you what, you guys, I'll take you guys out detecting tomorrow. So the next day, we went detecting with Spencer for an entire day on the farm where he found all those hammered silvers and Celtic gold. And so we had a great time. So we might actually fly back to England, hang out with Spencer for a few days, and then bounce over to Germany for a week.
That's fantastic.
And then come back home.
That's awesome.
If I can pull it up.
He always seemed like he'd be a nice dude, so it's awesome to hear.
Spencer?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a great guy. Great dude. Everything that he did for us in that day and a half was completely unexpected. And he bought us lunch the next day. He took us out detecting. We stopped at a gas station. He said, "Hey, grab your snacks and stuff and grab a sandwich and some sodas or whatever you want." And so we're going to be in the field all day. We were like, all right. So we grabbed all of our stuff and went to the register, and he basically just left his tab open and paid for all of our food. We're like, "Dude, you didn't have to do that." He's like, "I know. It's my treat." Like, wow. Cool. Thanks, man. So then he took us out detecting all day. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Now, are any detectorists in the U.S. going to be able to see you in the upcoming year at any events?
Yeah, hopefully. As long as I can get the time off, I'm trying to go to both big stock events this year if I can get the time. Yep, I'll hopefully be down in North Carolina in March, and then I don't know if they got dates not yet posted for the fall event. If they have a fall event, I'm going to try and make it to that one too.
Fantastic.
And I'm going to try. I think it's already sold out though. They have the Detecting the Heartland hunt, which is here in northern Illinois. It ain't that far from me, so I'd like to try and make that one, but I have a feeling that one's sold out already.
I've heard.
I'm not sure.
Are you gals going to be at Dig Stocks?
I'm supposed to be at the next one, and then my hunt's right the very next weekend after that. So hopefully I'll be able to make it to the Dig Stock, yeah.
Okay.
The following weekend, because I got to get ready for it. It's it is what's the word I'm looking for? St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Oh, okay.
It's the following weekend.
Yeah, March 17th.
Yeah, you're gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be busy.
Yeah. And starting the filming stuff, so it's gonna be busy year this 2023. So.
Never a bad thing. Never a bad thing.
No.
So we normally ask, it's kind of a goofy question. I'm sure you've heard us ask others before, but have to get your point
Oh,
on it.
oh
If you
no.
could be, if you could be a superhero and have those superpowers while treasure hunting, who would you be or what superpowers and why?
Why didn't I prepare myself for this? Oh, I knew this was coming too. Um, I told myself a few weeks ago when I can't remember who the guest was, but they gave the perfect answer. So if I ever go on the show, that's the answer I'm going to use. And now I can't even remember the name.
That happens.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to. I'm gonna have to do the same one everyone does, I guess. Just do Superman so I can see what's in the ground. I don't know. That's a hard question.
That's still a good one. That's still a good one, though.
Yeah, that's a tough question.
Yeah, it is. It's fun, though.
It's fun. Like I said,
see you dressed up like Super Town. Super Town.
Yeah, just wander around. Just kind of wander around. That's all I do.
So I know predominantly you talked about using the Nox. Are you using any other detectors as well?
This spring I actually bought the Degaz 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I am currently kind of juggling both of them, just back and forth. When I went to England, I took both machines with me. But like I told some of the other guys, let's see, I think there was Dave, John, and Jeff. All three of those guys were using Degaz 2s. And they all have a lot of hours with it. And I had probably close to 200 hours on my Degaz 2, and I know it, probably well enough. I could have hunted with it over there all week, no problem. But they always say the UK is no place to learn a new machine. When you go on one of these trips, you spend all that money. You want to take a machine that you know like the back of your hand. So if you get in the situation, you get in the iron, you get into EMI or something, one of those situations where things are goofy, but you kind of know how to handle it with your old faithful, right? If you're to run into that situation with the new, your new machine, your new baby, chances are you probably ain't going to know how to handle that situation the way the way you want to, So I took my Degaz 2. I never even put it together. It was in my carry or my check bag the entire time. I loaned a guy my headphones one day, and I loaned another guy my coil another day. I ran my Equinox the entire trip with the 15-inch coil on it. I had over 4 years on the Equinox. There's no sense in me.
Exactly. When you get that, when you're that familiar and that comfortable with the machine, that's the kind of machine you want to take with you on a trip like that. Do you usually bring one of the others, though, for a backup, I'm assuming?
Yep. On my first trip, I had ordered an Equinox. This is when they very first came out. The first batch came to the U.S., and I didn't get one. For some reason, my machine didn't come, or I got bumped, or something happened, but I didn't get my Equinox before my trip. So I actually took 2 Minelab E-Tracks to England on my first trip. But I still took 2 machines just in case one went south on me. I had a backup,
Yeah.
Or I broke the coil. I could grab the coil off of the other machine because on the first trip I brought 2 of the same machine. So, in like the Equinox, it might be the perfect example on some of these little tiny items I found over in the UK. They're just little blips, just little peeps, because they're such tiny items. That I was kind of afraid that if I was running the Degaz, I may have thought maybe that's just like a little false seem to chirp, or